It's a cruel It's a cruel, cruel summer. Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Now you're gone. You're not the only one. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer.
Cari boschi fitti e scuri, amaravamo mussolina, e da via i Santo Luca, tutti amavano le spine, chi va verso una capanna, un bicchiere o traditori, il votava sua compagna, su un rastro senza lui, riposavano tranquilli, l'unica sua amanti, e Lucerto suo cugino, riposava più distanti, e meglio non sapeva, in un quadro in compagnia, tanto l'odio distruggiva, e chi l'occhi non vivia.
Welcome, everyone. Yeah.
Michele Soavi.
Michele Soavi, which I'm actually now pretty sure his name is pronounced Michele Soavi or something to that effect. But I'm going to continue to call him Michele Soavi because I just feel like that sounds more Italian. So,
I also saw his name was Michael.
yeah, it's Michael's like the English, I think. So, whatever, it's going to be Michele Soavi. But
It's
Mike.
Michele Soavi.
yeah,
To
to
I
me
was
in my
watching.
heart, it is.
I think it's on the Sect Blu-ray, the Scorpion release version. They have a interview with one of the actors, and that's how they say it. So I think it's Michele Soavi.
See, I knew that was the Italian way that
Yeah.
you say it.
The Italian
That's
lingo.
that's a traditional Italian way. People don't realize that's a Sicilian way to say his name. That's how I know.
Yeah.
Because
His cousin's Rico.
yeah, yeah, Rico and Genevieve.
Right?
So it's Sunday. It's 10 o'clock. It's time to do another tour of Italy, and we've already mentioned who the director is. We're going to be talking about this guy though is a little bit different because he's not just a director. He was actually primarily an actor at 1st, and then kind of transitioned into being a director, and really well known for a lot of his roles, and especially in Argento films and pretty heavy Italian films at the time, as for being an actor in smaller parts, I'll say.
Yeah. Don't forget Father Thomas brain squishing his ass.
That's true. Yeah. He's got like not a very vast filmography, and we'll talk about why that is a little bit later too. But the films that he did do stand out, and they're very, very interesting films. Some better than others, but very interesting to say the least.
Right.
So let me introduce, to my right is the man that is bringing like all of the diversity to DEADPIT. That's what we're trying to do, like all the time.
That's right.
According to at least a couple people, that's what we're doing anyway. Stuntman Mark, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Just happy to be on. I'm a big fan of Soavi, so Can't wait to get going here.
And beneath me is the Italian stallion, the man that needs no introduction when it comes to giallo films or anything of that nature. Dirk, how you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good, man. Glad to be here. Talk about some Soavi.
Yeah, man. I don't think that we've ever on DEADPIT really talked about this guy at length at all. And I'm not sure why that is, but he's just one of those guys. All of his movies kind of just flew by us, or we weren't really that interested at the time we were doing the show. So this will be something we haven't done yet for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I'm willing to bet if you're like me, the first time that you ever saw this guy was probably in Demons. Like that's the first time that I remember ever.
You probably didn't know it.
Yeah, at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, as an acting role, not anything to do with direction or anything like that. But yeah, in the acting role, this is the first time that I ever saw him. And you might remember he had a really brief role in that movie as the guy with the mask thing on. Like, I don't know what the hell you'd call that, like a half a metal mask thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the
ticket-
first time.
The ticket
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably like an iconic role for him as well. But and he went on and he pretty much did all kinds of different jobs for different directors and things like that. I mean, he was, like I said, he studied to be an actor. That was primarily what he wanted to do at first.
Right.
And I haven't heard of this place, but it says he studied at Milan's Fersen Studios.
Yeah.
And he, which is apparently a pretty big deal. And then would go on to probably like his next big thing was to be the assistant director on Tenebra. So
For sure. And I know that he was in a movie called Alien 2. On Earth.
Yeah.
Or AKA Alien Terror.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before, I guess they had the copyright or some shit from their original Alien, the trademark or whatever, is what I was reading. I was like, what the hell? But seemed odd. Unofficial sequel.
Yeah,
before
directed
Alien.
by the great Italian film director Ciro Ippolito. Who everybody knows who that is.
Ippoliti.
Ippolito, yeah. We'll be
I know
doing
that name.
We'll be doing one of those on him
I
soon,
just
I'm
can't
sure.
figure the movie right at the moment.
Yeah, his career is so interesting. I mean, you know, you guys mentioned he was an actor first. It was only inevitable that he ended up falling into directing. He was doing second unit stuff, like you said, Tenebrae.
Yeah.
That was like dream job with Argento.
That's a big deal. I mean, he became Argento's protege.
Mhm.
The acting stuff, you know, he was in City of the Living Dead, New York Ripper. So he was around Fulci, D'Amato, all those guys.
D'Amato, yeah.
Yeah, D'Amato gave him his first shot though with stage fright. You know, like and he was like he was kind of scared. He's like thinking this guy's crazy, like letting me do this shit. But
yeah, he said he wasn't ready to make it, but he just jumped at the chance. I mean, it's a big opportunity, you know.
Right. And then he also did some stuff for Terry Gilliam, which like Monty Python and Brazil and
what was the movie he did? I think he worked on that movie. The one that was kind of the one that was kind of the Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
D'Amato got pissed about it. He was pissed off. He was like, "What the hell are you doing? Going to work second unit when you could be for that American? You could be doing your own shit, you know?" Like. But
so I mean, at that point in time, and we've already talked about several of these directors, but I mean, to be the assistant director of the second unit for like D'Amato and Argento and Gilliam, all these big name guys, man. I mean, he learned what to. I remember reading an interview with him too, where he said Argento. He was like, they were asking like what these guys taught him, and he was like, Argento taught him the ins, like how to make films, like what it was like to make films. And he said D'Amato and Gilliam more taught him like the character stuff, like how to work on characters and develop characters and things like that. But it was Argento was the one that taught him the nuts and bolts, like how to be a director, like what to do, the rules, so to speak.
Right,
So,
yeah.
I mean, he studied under some great guys. And all this is a thing when we do these shows, I noticed too, like all these guys are connected.
Yeah.
They're all connected in some way or another. Like they all run into each other at different times and do things for each other's films. And
I guess he
work
figured
with
out
each
quick to get the hell away from Fulci.
other. yeah, that's true.
I'm coming, Argento.
That's right, because he is in a Fulci film. I don't know. We haven't really brought that up either. He's an actor in a Fulci film, and that might be maybe his most well known role. Is if not Demons, then definitely that, like the brief role that he has.
Well, you can't forget Blade in the Dark.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know how many people know Blade in the Dark as opposed to like Demons and City of the Living Dead, but Blade in the Dark is definitely a slept upon movie. Like I think that's a great film that because of Vinegar Syndrome, I think a lot more people have seen now. But before that, I don't think it was known that well at all.
Hell no. Lambava.
Lambava, yep.
Yeah, I mean, big props to Blue Underground. I mean, I would have never seen any of these movies back in the day if it wasn't for them. That was my whole like schooling on all this stuff. I mean, I still have all those DVDs. I mean, that's where I got into pretty much all the giallo stuff and all those guys like Bava and Fulci and I mean Aldo Lato, Antonio Bito. You know, list goes on and on.
Hell yeah, Aldo Lato, man.
I'll tell you something about Blue Underground too. Is like I go back and I watch their Blu-rays and stuff, and I'm still to this day amazed. These Blu-rays are probably 14, 15 years old. They're better quality than like most everything that's out today. Like I don't know what it is about the way that they remaster these films, but they're some of the best just Blu-rays, just regular Blu-rays that I've ever seen on pretty much all of them.
I didn't realize that he directed videos for Phenomena and Demons.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how he got recognized from shit. Was it Diamato? I think it was Diamato.
I think so, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and he also did a little bit further down the road, he did a documentary for Dario Argento called Dario Argento's World of Horror, which I think I've seen that. That's a pretty popular documentary too.
I haven't seen it all. I started watching a little bit today just to see, but it looked like pretty damn good. I mean,
yeah, I think did Synapse release that?
Yeah, that was
back in the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I had that like when it came out and had no idea that he directed it at all. But yeah.
Damn.
I mean, you know, one time or another, I think I've seen most of the documentaries that they've done on Argento. So, but if you want to start, we're going to definitely start with an interesting one. And if we're, you know, you guys can pick out whichever ones you want to of his. So there's not many of them, to be honest. But this one we definitely have to talk about because number one, it's his first like feature film. But number two, it's like pretty well known in the realm of slasher films. It's still kind of
some people say it's a giallo, but it's that's definitely not a giallo.
It's a straight up slasher film.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Which is 1987 Stage Fright, and I personally love this movie for a couple different reasons. I've got the same one, Dirt. Look at
right.
I'm the only one that didn't upgrade it. I still have my DVD. I've just been waiting for the 4K for I don't know how long.
Hey, this image still looks good.
Does it really?
Oh, it looks amazing. That's what I'm saying,
man. It looks like a 4K. Shit.
Wow.
Like,
you don't need to upgrade if you've got the Blu-ray from them.
Yeah.
Like you really don't.
It really looks like a 4K for sure.
But
great.
Yeah. So, give you a brief kind of plot synopsis here. Acting troupe is making what looks to be the worst play of all time. Like, they only like focus on the actual play for probably about 5 minutes into our movie. It's so bad you can't make sense out of anything they're trying to do in it at all. Like some woman's playing like a saxophone, and then there's like an owl with a gun to it, like somebody's pointing a gun to this owl guy's head. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And then, but that just really quickly just kind of dissolves into the actual like plot of the movie, which is, while this acting troupe is making this movie, there's this killer going around in this owl head costume that's like picking them off one by one. And so, I mean,
Wallace, right?
Yeah. So it's not, you can't really figure out what the play is they're going for there, but you don't really need to.
No,
kinda-
I mean the guy who's playing like the director of the play, he's acting like he's doing
Ridiculous.
the fucking
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind or something. Like
What's his name? Brandon
Davis. I think.
Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Bava's Delirium, which I'm a big fan of as well. That's another.
Oh,
yeah.
film.
Photos of Joya or Goya.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I
Love that one.
I think too, another thing I noticed about these movies, including this one, is I think with the exception of maybe Cemetery Man, Giovanni Lamberto Radici's in all of them.
Yeah.
Like he's got a role in every, so they must have been close. Like they must have been tight because like, he's in every one of these movies, and he's got a fairly decent role in this movie.
So he would also pick up Tomas Arana as well, who is the lead in the church.
Yeah.
And he's also the leader of the cult in the Sect.
Yep, that's right.
And
the Rolling Stones fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was in Bava's Body Puzzle. And he has such an interesting career, that guy, because he worked for Scorsese first. Then he went over, worked for Soavi. Then he would go back to the States, work for McTiernan and Hunt for Red October, then go back and do the Sect, then go back to the States and do Bodyguard and Tombstone.
Yeah.
That guy was all over the place, but
it's
interesting. Career.
It's interesting too, because you talk about Scorsese, and Scorsese, when Cemetery Man came out, said it was like one of the best films of that year too.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know if he knew about,
he must have.
If he knew Soavi through him, but yeah, he did mention.
Uh-oh, Uncle Bill.
You freeze.
Yeah, you cut out, man.
Oh, did I froze?
Okay, you're good.
This would be the night to enter.
Oh.
Freezing again?
There you go.
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
internet's be throttling shit, man.
it is. It's going to throttle back and forth here, I think.
Yeah.
But Stage Fright is just straight up slasher to me. I mean, it's like one of those, people getting picked off one by one by somebody that you don't know who it is, and you only know they're dressed in like an owl costume, which is a pretty cool design, really.
It is, man. It's because it gets nastier as the film goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first it don't look like, you're like, what the fuck, like I was anyway. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then as the film goes on, it gets creepier, man, because it gets dirtier and bloodier and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
there's one scene in particular where like uses a chainsaw, and like you see all the blood stuff hit the mask and everything, and it just completely covers it. But it's it's a straight up slasher film. I can't really say that it's anything else other than that. Like they're not really trying to be. There's like hints of Argento in it, like in a couple of different spots.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't really ever go full Argento where it's like the big elaborate set pieces or lighting or color schemes or anything like that. It stays pretty like grimy and pretty much like a straight 80s slasher film, really.
And of all people that write the damn thing, George Eastman.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, George,
and he was in the owl costume too. He said Soavi said they had somebody different all the time in the owl costume. Between Eastman, another guy, what's his name? He was even in the damn owl costume.
Well, Eastman was like 6'9". So it makes sense. Like he's like a really intimidating presence, like in any film that I've ever seen him in. So yeah, him being in the owl costume, he's terrifying as hell to me. In what is it? Absurd.
Oh,
yeah, it's like
Sarcophagus too.
Yeah, I mean he just looks crazy anyway. Like he's huge too. So when you see him like grab somebody, his hands are the size of like catcher's mitts, man. It's just like it's terrifying to see that. Right. But yeah. There is some really, really amazing death scenes in this movie too.
Yeah.
And the practical effects are pretty good considering like the time period and everything. Like the couple that I can think of, there's a scene where he whacks a guy's arm off one of the guys that's the actor, and then like cuts his head off, and they show like the whole thing, like from a little bit afar too. There's another scene where guys like by a door and he gets a drill that comes through him and it sucks his t-shirt. I thought that was cool how they filmed that too. Like when he pulls the drill back, his t-shirt and stuff comes like backwards almost somehow. Like it's a pretty cool shot as well. It is like if you like Italian slasher films, there's no way you're not gonna like this movie. To me,
you can see the love though, man. And like he was saying, like I was watching an interview with him. He was saying that like he was so like a nervous wreck because this was his first film and like his first, not very first film, but it was a bigger type of cinema for him. And he checked every frame. He was so meticulous in this one, especially that stage scene though. Holy shit.
At the end?
Got that key like 10 times bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a he got a key where she's under the stage. I love that scene.
That scene is awesome too because like it kind of reminds you of those different. What was it like? Happy Birthday to Me, where they have like a scene where somebody walks in and everybody's set up.
Yeah.
All the dead bodies are kind of set up and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie. I mean, because you have that wonderful piece of music that plays over the scene. All the bodies around, the killer's just sitting there. Yeah, it creates like a surreal, like snow flurry like effect with all the feathers. Yeah. And then it's a great moment of tension because she's got to retrieve the key and not be seen by the killer.
Right by his foot. And there's a damn cat, man.
Right, yeah, the cat.
That scene was weird to me because the cat's freaking the hell out and the guy just doesn't react to that whatsoever. He's just kind of sitting there. That cat's going crazy. Like, she's like, cat's like, she's under here. And the guy's just like, nope. Like,
that's an awesome scene though, man. It really is. And he tips his hat to Hitchcock for that. Because Hitchcock used like props that were bigger, like telephones and shit like that.
And the angles that shot
sense.
at too made
right.
A lot of times work that way too. So that whole scene is amazing. And there's a whole thing with him, like, too, where I don't know what the deal is, that he's like shoving feathers in people's mouths and faces and stuff. Like, it's some sort of weird, like, I don't know what that was all about, but it kind of adds to that character because he's just like so pissed at something, and you don't figure out what that is.
Some psychotic son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He was an actor himself. So it's great.
Yeah, it's got the typical like 80s slasher premise for your killer, escape mental patient, which that was used probably a million times back then. But it doesn't make it cheesy or like bad at all. It just works. I mean, I think you were saying, Dirk, like his attention to detail, that's all over the screen. It really helps. That movie is, I think it's safe to say it's all of our favorites from him. Probably even everybody in the chat too. I think it's his best movie.
That's hard because Cemetery Man, dude. Like,
you're a big fan.
Listen, I'm going to get into that too. I rewatched Cemetery Man because we got it sent to us to review, and that's probably the only, because I don't own that movie at all in any format.
Okay.
I only have the old Anchor Bay DVD.
So I was like, but I want to talk about that because I had a completely different reaction to seeing this movie this time, probably 20 years after I'd seen it the first time. And that'll be interesting to talk about. Like, but needless to say, I'm not positive this is my favorite film of his, but it's definitely pretty damn close. If it's not, it's up there. But it's a straight slasher film.
Right.
Like he gets progressively more like, what would you say? Artsy, or I don't know how to say it, but like he doesn't ever go back to just being like a straight slasher or straight anything really. He gets more and more kind of abstract, I guess is the word I'm looking for, with like each film that he does.
Definitely.
Right.
Until you get to Cemetery Man, where it's like pretty much the whole fucking movie is like a surrealistic dream or something.
With some dark ass comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
so if you don't own, I mean, I can't imagine that many people don't, but if you don't own Stage Fright, I would just, for now, definitely.
Yeah, you know it's coming. It's got to come, right?
Yeah, apparently it's coming out from Severin, the 4K.
I mean,
They said
Yeah.
this year, so I'm gonna hold out. I
if
can
you
hold
don't,
out a little bit longer.
if you don't care that much, I mean, about a 4K, you could, by the time that comes out, you could probably get this super cheap.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks great. I mean,
It
it really
does.
does. And it's got great features on there. It's got interview with Soavi on there.
Okay.
I think it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And
let's
then
see what.
They got interviews with Radici on there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Who else is on there?
David Brandon, interview with
Right.
him. Interview with the makeup effects guy Pietro Tenaglia. The Sounds of Aquarius, interview with the composer Simon Boswell, which I did not realize that was the guy that composed that film until I started doing research for this.
Right.
Yeah.
And D'Amato had to do the cinematography to wrap the film up because the other cinematographer they said was like taking too long, and D'Amato was, producing the film. So he was like, he just came in, took over. He's like, we got to get this shit wrapped up. But that first shot is a dolly shot, and they waited till the end to do it with the cat, where you see the black cat coming up to the chick.
Mhm.
They waited till the end because it would have pissed D'Amato off, because it took half a day because they had outdated heavy ass equipment. And anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting. So
I think most things pissed off.
they said that
D'Amato.
D'Amato would fired him if he knew
Yeah.
that they wasted half a day for that shot. But anyway.
But to give you, I mean, a couple of different credits that that Simon Boswell did, because I was looking on here just for like film credits that he's done scores and stuff for.
Okay.
He's got credits on Phenomena. He's got credits on Jesus Christ, pretty like through the 80s, pretty much everything you can think of. Delirium, The Ogre, Santa Sangra, Hardware,
Have you ever seen that one?
Dust
Santa
Devil.
Stingray?
I've never
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that movie, but people
Oh,
always like, yeah.
I got the
man.
4K from Severin. I love that one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Jodorowsky movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, tons of stuff through the 80s and 90s, especially. Does the Shameless, let's see what we got in the chat here real quick, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
questions. Let's see. Lord God, where to begin here? Matt just says he hasn't seen the Sect of the Church, so he probably wouldn't have been much help. That's fine. I probably, well, we'll talk about that in a second. If I had a choice, I might not have seen at least one of those movies. Ken says, BU told me Stage Fright 4K isn't in the works. Something must be up with the materials or it'll be out by now. Okay. And then Matt goes on to say, I can't wait for the 4K of Stage Fright from Severin. It'll be like $50, but I don't care. I need it. It'll definitely be 50 or $60.
Yeah. For sure. But they've upped their shit up. They've upped their game, man. I give them that.
Yeah. Ken says he loves Stage Fright in the Church, but I hate Cemetery Man and Sect.
Oh,
That's a hot take.
that's a high.
The mayor says, I noticed that in Late Night with the Devil, one of the characters was wearing that owl mask from Stage Fright. I didn't catch that at all.
Okay,
but
I
I'll have to
haven't
go back and watch
watched. I haven't
that.
seen that yet.
Interesting.
Colt says Cemetery Man is his best film, and that the church is boring.
Look, buddy.
I don't know about that.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of that, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know if it's boring, but we'll get into it. I don't want to blow, waste that yet. So.
Goblins Inc. says Stage Fright is pretty good.
Yeah.
Here's an.
Oh, come on.
Damn.
Come on.
Damn, bro.
Damn. I think you got to watch it at least twice, man. I mean, I hate to say that, but I noticed I liked it on the second viewing a lot more. But
Fight Eagle says, but does it have an interview with the symbolist from the orchestra, which is a callback to a comment that CK made that Screen Factory will put like anything on their special features.
Yeah.
Maybe. Does the Shameless Blu-ray look like a 4K? I don't have the Shameless. Blu-ray.
The Shameless. I wouldn't think so, to be honest, because
Yeah,
I
Shameless is not notorious for.
yeah, the Shameless ones I have they're not that great. I mean,
Movie Junkie John says Stage Fright has a remake that's not a remake. The Meatloaf movie. It's odd. I don't know what that is.
Meatloaf movie.
The Meatloaf movie. I'm really racking my brain here.
I do know of another film called Stage Fright, and I think it is a horror movie, but I've never seen
2014. There's one for 2014. It's nothing like this though.
it. Okay.
He says maybe it was just named the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, I don't think Cemetery Man is awful, but it couldn't live up to the hype. It was so hyped up forever by everyone, it seems.
I'm gonna give you a hot take. I like it better than Evil Dead 2.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out of the line of fire for this shit. And people like,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll put it over that.
when we get to it,
Yeah.
I have some thoughts. What is I watched church with my Fruit Loops and I hated it. Toucan Sam says that. It's gonna be a new recurring character. I didn't see that coming at all. Okay. The 2014 Stage Fright is a musical. Okay, yeah, let's not. Unless we talk about musicals, the better. I think.
Yeah. I can't do it.
So I think we all would recommend Stage Fright. That's pretty.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
clear.
Hell yeah.
What would y'all give it though? I give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
7 or
same.
8 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah.
So up next, if we're going chronologically, would probably be The Church.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Church is 1989.
Yeah.
Co-written and directed by Soavi, produced by Argento. It also has Giovanni Lamberto Radici as well as Thomas Arana. Asia Argento, who's like, she looks like she's about anywhere between 12 to 14
12
years
or
old.
something.
Yeah. And there's a couple of questionable scenes in this movie where I was like, let's get Argento out of there if we could.
Yeah.
a little creepy.
Right. Yeah.
But this is an interesting film, and I'd only ever seen this like one other time when it first came out. Went back and watched it again yesterday, and I was like, the one thing that stood out that I didn't remember was how like well and amazing the set pieces were in this movie. Like the different parts of this movie when they go into like it's insane, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess they just had access to those kind of places where you could shoot that stuff and like those gothic kind of castles and stuff like that.
That's what I love about the movie. It's got that well, I love gothic horror anyway.
Yeah.
So to see it like this, I mean, I guess if I could coin a new phrase, it's Euro Gothic in a way.
Yeah. That's a good phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I mean, it oozes atmosphere. It's got great music.
That opening medieval scene, man.
That was that scene. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be like something. And then it just goes from like 100 to 20, like pretty quick. Like,
right. Yeah. Put all these heretics, bury them, and then they build this church on top. But I mean, I don't have to have a movie to explain everything, but damn, this one is like, no, we're not telling you shit.
Well, I think this is what I hope anyway. My thought is he's trying to go at this stage. He's trying to go more the Argento route, where it's like more visuals, less story, and less like telling you what's going on and kind of stuff like that. Either that, or he just didn't know what the fuck. Like
this one, no, I think he and Argento wrote this one together.
Yeah, that makes sense. The way that the film kind of plays out. Yeah,
I did see where he was saying that he wanted to get so far away from
Demons 3.
Demons
3.
That he didn't want it like Demons at all. So
because that was the original plan. This is supposed to be Demons 3. The Church is supposed to be Demons 3, but he completely rewrote it, I think, because he thought Demons was kind of like, what did he say? Like MTV-ish kind of, horror film. And he wanted it to be more like a gothic, big budget looking,
I remember Argento saying that Nobody but Bava wanted to make Demons 3. Argento didn't want to be a part of it. The studio didn't want to do it. It was
Damn.
only Bava, but
Okay.
that kind of fell through. So we ended up with the church instead.
Well, I mean, Demons was to me at that point a pretty good commodity. I mean, it was a seller. It did well, and like
Mhm.
it's an easy movie to make because it's basically
right.
it's like a zombie movie, a
Mhm.
siege kind of zombie movie, but just with demons. So shit,
Right.
you could do 1,000,000 of those, and they tried.
Mhm.
But the church is not that movie.
No.
The church is something else entirely.
I could I mean, I've always looked at the church though, like you can almost pair it like a double feature with what is it? John Carpenter's
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
I mean,
I was okay. So
nowhere on the level, but I would say
No.
it'd make a double feature. It'd make,
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out while I was watching it, like, because it has everything, that like an Argento movie would have almost, including Asia Argento. And like, but I was like, what is it about this movie? Because I just could not get into this one. Like, I tried really hard to get into this fucking one. And it's the middle part of the movie. Like, the middle part of the movie is just, to me, torturous to get through. Like, it just drags, and then you got little Asia Argento running around, like
when he's
just
going through the catacombs.
doing random shit, and he's going through the catacombs, and they're figuring out like what's actually going on and things like that. And it just I think the movie's like an hour and 40 minutes long, and that takes like an hour to just get to like the
Mhm.
the build up towards the end.
Yeah, the build to the climax it's not swift at all. They try to have so much mystery and get you involved into the whole stuff with the parchment and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got the priest running around along with Tomas Arana's character, and then he becomes possessed. And yeah, it's a lot of moving parts.
Was that Barbara Cupisti? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's like trying to restore these frescoes. That reminds me of like Don't Look Now, kind of, or Obsession. Have you ever seen Obsession from De Palma?
De Palma's, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's a stretch.
Now it's actually that's a pretty good callback. The one scene that kind of breaks up the monotony of all that, because there's this whole other little like subplot where there's this little like stone that's glowing, blue stone that's glowing through the thing, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with it. Amidst all that, like the priest in there starts to lose his mind and become like possessed and things like that, and like is trying to basically hit on Argento, and then just like, and that's the scene where I was like, this is just fucking kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And then like just throws himself on top of a jackhammer.
That's an awesome scene though.
That scene, I was like, yeah, okay, this is
the jackhammer.
I'll give you this scene. Yeah, that's pretty killer, and it looks really good.
The heart tear, rip out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love that shit. What about that old lady banging her husband's head on the bell? I mean, it's got some good shit in it, man.
It does. It has some good like individual scenes like that.
Right.
It's just as a whole, there's that whole part in the middle there where
then it changes, goes into like this satanic kind of thing where Evan turns into a goat while he's raping, like this goat man thing while he's raping.
He's like a goat faced demon, and he's raping that chick.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
The damn goat in the window. I don't know, man. It's crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I guess towards the end where everybody's trapped inside there, and there's like they all start having these different weird death scenes and shit. That part to me is killer. Like if you haven't seen this movie, it's almost worth it to me to just get to that part. So there's a part in the movie where like a group of like school children on a trip and a bunch of the people get trapped in the church, and like the church kind of locks itself in, and
his suicide triggers like a lockdown mechanism of the church, and then they're all trapped in.
Yeah, and they're all like in there, and then they all like start to have these weird visions and like these shit starts to happen. Everybody starts to get killed, and it's so messed up. Like some of the stuff that happens.
That gate
That-
kill, like
Yeah.
Yeah, the impalement scene.
The
That was
impalement, yeah.
killer.
I mean, it's got some great special effects too.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say about pretty much all these movies that he did. They had great practical effects. Now, so people will have to decide for themselves whether like the rest of the movie is worth getting to. All
I
this
just
stuff.
don't know. Like, do you understand it though? Like, why? Because they threw all these heretics down into a mass grave
Right.
and built the church on top
Built
of
the
it.
church on top of it. It's supposed
But-
to be
There-
possessed by
So
what?
demons.
So those two
I mean, I don't
Teutonic knights that
Yeah.
massacre those people in the village are devil worshippers,
Right.
and they throw them in the mass grave. But then they put the cross on top to sort of contain the evil, and then the
Right.
church is built over that. So the lead character Evan, who's Tomas Arana,
Yeah.
he figures out like how to open it, and of course, unbeknownst to him, he unleashes the evil and everything. So that's why you have all the crazy stuff going on. And then skipping to the end, I mean, the whole lockdown mechanism is like their fail safe to contain the evil if it were to ever come out. So that's basically the whole movie. I mean,
So what's the deal with the architect though? You know what I mean?
all the like the schematics and the blueprint? You talking about that stuff?
The John Richardson's character, like they put that thing in his mouth and they're, you know what I'm talking about? They're torturing him and shit.
Yeah.
I don't get that shit, man. I don't.
Explain that, Mark.
We're spoiling the shit out of this. I'm sorry, but I'm trying not to. I don't think you can spoil it, really.
Well, not really. I don't think you could. I mean, I kind of just gave it away because that's pretty much the whole movie. Like you said, like there's parts like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really explain that stuff. I mean, but
Right.
I would have to blame Argento for that because there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff in his movies you can't explain
The
either.
secret's
That's
in his
true.
mouth.
Yeah.
The secret's
Yeah.
in his mouth. So it's funny. Oh man, but yeah.
So yeah, isn't there something at the end too, Mark, where it has like a self-destruct mechanism that's like
Mm-hmm.
built into the church itself?
Yeah. So if the priest and I forget what the other guy is called, he's like the security guy, but he's been appointed by the church. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is. Either way, if they weren't like, if the evil was to come about again and they can't stop it, then that whole self-destruct thing is supposed to have the church collapse in on itself to once again sort of keep the evil at bay.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, kind of, except when you're watching it, you're like, what the fuck is going on? But if you look at it from like that angle and from like actually like the storyline, like if you read the storyline,
Mhm.
it's easier to follow than actually trying to watch the movie and
But
make
don't
sense
it
out of
feel like a bunch of different like
Yes,
clips from different movies? Or
it
something?
feels like
I
it
don't know.
feels very disjointed in a way. Like, yeah,
Right.
Well, see, that's kind of how I feel about the next one. Not to skip ahead, but that's how
oh,
I feel
hell
about
yeah,
the Sect.
that's 100% true. Yeah,
Yeah, the Sect had almost no fluidity. I mean, you could have that. See, that's a problem with that movie. It's like it's almost 2 hours, and that's way too long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's a long stretch of time, not to give anything away, where pretty much jack shit happens in that movie
Mhm.
too, as well. Like, and you're just.
Yeah.
But once again, when stuff does happen, which is
Yeah.
usually in the beginning and the end of these movies, like when it does happen, like it really happens. Like it's pretty big. I mean, and so I guess like anything else about the church before we transition into that. I know like one thing I wanted to mention about it too was the music was by Keith Emerson
Mhm.
and Philip Glass, who are both pretty well known.
Yeah, I
mean,
love
everybody. Yeah,
I love
Yeah, I
Philip
mean-
Glass's score on Candyman. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorites.
I mean,
mean-
visually speaking, it's great atmosphere.
Mhm.
It's good acting. It really is. It's just I think the story's a little weak though. The writing, I don't know. But
I think it doesn't know what it wants to be in a way. Like it wants to be an Argento film, but like it's not. and it doesn't go far enough into being an Argento film, and it doesn't go far enough into not being an Argento film. It's just in this weird, balance between those two.
I'll still probably give it I'd probably still give it a 6 out of 10. Like, I don't
That's
know.
fair. Yeah.
I'd
I'd probably give it 6.5 out of 10. I think I'll just like it a little bit more.
Right.
I'll give it a 5. I'll take
Okay.
I'll take the lower
So you didn't buy
route.
the 4K then, I think.
No, I've still got the Blu-ray from.
I did.
From what? Who the hell put this out? I think it was Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion.
Yeah.
They put out
I've
that
still got
and the Sect.
Yep.
There you
And
go.
those Blu-rays look good.
They do, because I watched both
Oh,
of them.
nice. I still got that Blue Underground DVD.
That's old school right there. Yeah.
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 So then in 1990, he would have filmed, and then 1991 would have come out The Devil's Daughter,
Yeah.
aka The Sect.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Starring Kelly Curtis, Jamie
Kelly
Lee
Curtis.
Curtis's sister.
Yeah, man. I didn't realize that
Herbert Lom is in
They were
this. I'm like,
doing-
what the
Yeah.
fuck is Herbert Lom doing in here? From the Pink Panther, like mostly like
Mhm.
people know him from the Pink Panther. It's like,
Yeah.
what in the hell? I didn't expect somebody like that to be in this movie for some reason, but
shit. You got Mama from Burial Ground.
Mama, yeah,
Oh,
Evelyn. Mary Angela Giordano. How do you say it? You know her name?
you got me on that one. I
Okay.
can't pronounce any of these names.
I think that sounds about right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
This one's weird to me too, because the way it starts out, you think you're in for like a certain type of movie, and then it goes in a completely different direction. So the beginning of the movie is there's this kind of band of hippies that are out on it looks like a desert plain or something like that, and they're just kind of like chilling out, doing hippie shit, painting their
Good
titties.
hippie shit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're literally painting their titties.
Yeah.
And this guy who looks like Jesus and apparently
Mhm.
kind of walks on water, walks up to them, and he's like, hey man, he does quote the Rolling Stones song. He goes, I bet you're
Sympathy.
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I bet you're wondering what my name is or something, or whatever that quote is from
Yeah.
the Rolling
Sympathy for
Stones.
the devil.
Yeah, sympathy from the devil.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets in with them because they're a good group, and they let him come in and join.
You
The
notice how the
commune.
kids look at him though?
That's true. That is
Yeah.
that is
Like-
a sign. Yeah.
They're like, look at him.
Well,
like,
fuck, man.
what's
Like
wrong with
after what happens, you're kind of like,
yeah.
sure, yeah.
What's the shit
Just
with the
the
little
kids.
kid and the rattlesnake though, man? That
That was weird.
That was weird.
It's like a
Walks up there
5-year-old
like-
kid taking a piss. They are
Yeah.
a snake.
Yep.
starts crying and shit. I don't know. But
So of course it turns out he's like the Charlie Manson type, and he kills everybody in the little group. And then he's basically not basically, he totally is like a satanic kind of
yeah, he's part of this sect.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a cult leader.
But when he's stabbing that one woman, at first I thought she was getting screwed or something.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
think
like,
that's what they're trying to imply.
Yeah,
And he's invoking Lucifer as he does all the killings. Yeah.
right.
And
man,
dude,
they don't show it, but they kill the kids too. It's like, whoa.
yeah, they kill
Mhm.
because he's like in the one scene where the girl comes back, or like there's like one girl that wasn't there while that happened, and she comes back and gets captured. And he's like, yeah, you should have been here. We killed your kids and all your friends, and this is gonna be amazing, man. Like devil,
Right.
like whatever. But I don't know if they did that back then yet, but like, you get the idea.
Right.
So all that happens, and that I'm like, wow, this is going to be amazing. And then like it goes from that to
Germany.
completely different. Germany,
Mhm.
present day, and this school teacher is out driving her car and basically misses and thinks she's hit Herbert Lom. And he's kind of just wandering around the road there. She takes him in, and then all hell kind of breaks loose at her house. As it changes into a completely different movie,
Yeah.
man. For
Yeah.
about an hour and a half, you're just like, what the fuck is Herbert Lom
Yeah, she goes to sleep and he puts a beetle in her nose.
Mhm.
That's right. That's it.
It's so crazy.
Oh Lord.
There's so many crazy scenes that like
That little white
I
rabbit.
don't know where to
and shit.
begin.
Like
Yep.
what the shit? But
So it kind of is at that point. It enters into like a what would you call it? Like a hallucinogenic almost kind of thing in some scenes.
yeah, surrealistic,
surrealism.
hyperrealism,
Yeah,
some shit.
some bullshit. Like it goes into. And here's the thing. I know there's going to be people that like this movie just because it's so out there. But like
I'm one of those people though. Say a lot.
Yep. You know it's going to have a cult following because it's so fucking crazy, man. There's no way.
Yeah. This is my first time seeing it, so I was like, "Holy shit!" Especially the lot lizard scene. We got to talk about the lot lizard scene.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Yes,
with,
indeed.
I guess her name's Mary Angela from Burial Ground. Damn. Or did I skip too far ahead?
I don't know if we can skip too far ahead of this part, but go
well,
ahead, Mark.
The whole scene with Giovanni Lombardo Radici, that was pretty crazy. That's one of my gripes too. He's not in the movie that long. He's in it for maybe 15, 20 minutes. He's in the church much longer. He plays a priest in the church. In this one, he's just like some fucking crazy man. He's running around with a severed.
Is he a priest too? Or no?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Not in this.
Maybe I'm mixing shit because I watched some of this shit, like mixing the shit up. But
yeah, so he removes a heart, and then I know he has like a crucifix on it, and then he's running around with it, and I know he gets confronted by the cops, and then I think he commits suicide in that scene. Is that what that was supposed to be? Like where they confront him at gunpoint, and then he manages to like grab their hand while they have the gun on him, and then he shoots himself.
Yeah. He's trying to explain that he's forced to do what he's doing.
Yeah. He's like he's under like the power of the sect or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you find out many people are under the power of the sect.
Yeah.
But it's well, I won't say that because I don't want to give away like too much of the movie. So isn't there a whole thing too where like not to go too deep into this beetle mythology, but isn't there a whole thing
like
where
10,000-year-old beetles or something?
Yeah, exactly. Like an entomologist is brought in to discovers that like the fucking beetle's like 10,000 years old or something like that, and there's a whole side plot about that.
And there's toothpaste in the water and shit.
There's way too much silly shit in there that just clogs this movie up.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
so I don't know.
I mean, I do like that the trucker scene though. I do like that scene.
The trucker scene is
because you don't expect that shit. I'm thinking something else is going to happen, and I'll leave it at that, so I don't spoil it. But I don't know. I had a fun time with it. But
well, you go full circle, right? So you go full circle all the way around, and Hobo Jesus comes back, and you find out some things. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to give it away, but you find out that some things that you probably didn't know, like going into this, that are the basis for the entire movie. Really, I'll just say that, especially for the ending. And I don't know, depending on like what kind of movies you like, you're either going to love that as the ending, or you're just going to roll your fucking eyes and be like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of weak. I ain't gonna lie. The ending is kind of weak.
But. And I'll just say this: it's been done. It's been done before.
Been done a lot.
Yeah. So, I kind of
the one scene though with the shit coming on her face,
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So there's a scene. No, I don't think this gives anything away really about like.
No, not really.
But there's a scene that I'd forgotten completely until I rewatched this, which is like the basis of the cover, I think, as well, where Hobo Jesus like has this thing, and this is I'm surprised nobody ever thought about this before because it's so fucking twisted. But it's got a bunch of different hooks, and he's holding on to it like there's like 5 or 6 different hooks that are attached to her face, and he's holding on to it like this, and he just twists it like this, and it like rips her entire face off.
Yeah.
And that effect is amazing. I was watching
Yeah.
that and I was like, holy shit, like that is really good.
Solid. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
and then you kind of figure out what he's doing with that, why they want the face and everything, and which is insane. But
Yeah.
I didn't expect that either the first time
No.
I saw it. I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with that? And then
It's
when
like
you
for-
see what they do with it, it's like, what the fuck is
like for
happening?
every one good scene in this movie, there's another scene where you're just like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
what? Why would you do that? And it doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
this has to be of the movies that I've got on here, this has to be my least favorite.
Okay.
Just because it's so long, man. Like it's
I can see that.
it's got some good scenes,
The
maybe
visual.
even like 1 or 2 great scenes. Yeah,
Yeah.
visually, yeah.
Yeah.
But like it takes forever to get to the fucking point, and when you do get to the point, you're kind of like, oh, fucking.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a letdown a little bit, but I'll still give it a 6 for me. But
I
6
give
out
it
of
a 666. Let's all give it 6. That makes sense.
I'd probably give it a 5 only
Aw,
because
shit.
only because of the reveal at the end, how long it is.
Yeah.
I'd mostly give it at least that number just because there's some technique behind it.
There is.
There's some really good shots.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of style in there. Soavi definitely knew what he was doing, but just the story for me, like you guys said, it's been done already. I think the movie could have been a lot better had he cut at least 20 to 30 minutes out.
I kind of
And-
like the whole. If they would have went more with the opening, like how it started with the bikers and shit,
Yeah,
and kept that pace going.
yeah,
Uh,
that's a good point. Yeah,
I don't know why they chose to go to Germany, but whatever.
Let's see here. I'm looking at some of these comments.
Yeah.
The mayor says, I'm used to a lot of Italian films that use dream logic. Well,
Yeah.
I am too. I mean, that's most of those Italian films from that period. Colt says he agrees with 5 out of 10 for The Church. For The Church, Jake says 3 out of 5.
That's 6. Yeah.
Let's see. 7 out of 10 from the mayor. So for The Church, that is.
Oh. Okay.
cool.
I mean, Aja, that's a great role for Aja, though. I thought she did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to be that age and everything, like that's insanely good for that. Colt also says this is the name Mariangela Giordano. He says, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
either."
I just say Mary Angela.
Yeah.
Mary Angela Giordano.
Giordano. Giordano.
Yeah.
The Sect is the only Soavi film that I don't like, says the mayor.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, go
Colt
buy the
says-
Blu-ray. It might change your mind.
I was going to buy the Sect, but if it's worse than The Church, I'm going to save my money. I don't know how to compare that.
I was,
I
but
I think it's on Tubi. I would say give it a Tubi watch
Yeah.
before you buy it and see what you think.
I watched it on Tubi. No, it's also known as The Devil's Daughter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
look
This
for
is
that.
the version that I've got. This is the old Scorpion
Okay.
one that came out.
But watching it, like when I was watching it, I was thinking, damn, some of these scenes would really pop in 4K though. Like they really would. But I don't know if that's strong enough, like to,
Mm-hmm.
to get it.
Spirit Knight says Hobo Jesus runs wild, brother. He really does. He's definitely a Manson-like character. Yeah, that's definitely what they were going for. Let's see. The mayor says the Sect gets a 3 from me. It's the least favorite of his films. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my least favorite as well.
I'm all alone over here with the same.
This
It's all good. I mean, visually speaking, is why I like probably atmosphere. Like, yeah, the ending's weak as hell, and but it's got some cool shit in it.
I love it when people say this, but this may be true of this movie. Rat Amber says you don't watch the film, you experience it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely true on this one.
Yeah, it's definitely just let shit go and turn your brain off. Kind
Yep. Keep an open mind and just don't like try to find any semblance of a plot during the middle of the film.
Right.
Yeah. So, as we were talking about earlier, like he continues to get progressively kind of more and more abstract and surrealistic. And there's a lot of stuff in these movies where it goes into almost like dream territory.
Mhm.
And I think that culminates with this next film, which to me is the easiest film of his to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
because
most accessible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most accessible. It's the most American
It's
most
the first
American
one I ever saw. Thinking about it now, it's the first one I saw. It so
and that is 1994's Cemetery Man, aka De La Morte de la More.
yep. That's
Rupert Everett, who at that time, yeah, that's a great cover for that. I've just got the standard edition.
This
Make
is-
sure there's no titties on it. Okay.
I know it's expensive, man, but this damn thing's shiny as hell and got the nice big book in there and all that shit. If you're into that kind of shit.
Yeah, those
Del More.
those 4Ks that they did look really good. I
They look great.
got to put them over.
Yeah,
The packaging is fantastic.
Yeah.
As well as like the print and like you were just showing Dirk, like it.
Yeah.
I think they're worth it. If you're fans of those movies, those are the additions to get.
I've got to do a review on this soon, and I 100% think that transfer is like one of the best transfers I've seen this year.
It's
Like-
pretty damn good. And was that a 4-disc set, I believe? Because you get a soundtrack too.
Well, I don't have I've just got the standard, so I've got
Right.
it's a 2-disc. Yeah,
Okay. I think it's 4-disc altogether. But damn. I think I'm right on that. You get a soundtrack with it. Severin does that shit. Yeah, it's 4-disc.
That's cool.
so this is one that like I was thinking about this while I was watching it. I was like, you're either going to love this movie or fucking hate it. Like it's a very divisive film.
Yeah.
Because of how it's made, what it is. Like, I don't feel like there's anybody that's going to be in middle ground with this movie where they're just going to be like, it's all right. But, like it's completely different than any other film that I think I've ever seen. Like, I can't think of another movie that's like this movie.
Right.
It's,
and I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like this is reality? Like, I don't think that
I don't think it can be. No.
this
No.
is not in
I
a
mean-
real place. So,
But,
No.
okay.
Well, the final scene kind of
yeah.
gives you the answer
Yeah.
to that. So
Right.
So it's based on a comic book. No, I don't know how many people know that. It's based on a comic book called was it Dylan Dog?
Dylan Dog, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And the inspiration for that comic book, the main character in that comic book was Rupert Everett, which is wild because they got him in this movie,
Yeah.
to play the lead.
That's
character.
meta as hell, ain't it?
That is, yeah. That's a whole bunch of degrees of separation there. And like it, the comic book itself, from what I can understand watching these special features, because I've never actually read the comic book, truth be known, is very kind of surrealistic and stuff too. And this was not an actual, this was a book that I can't remember the writer's name, was going to put out, but he hadn't yet. And he just gave the script to Soavi and was like, he gave him 2 scripts. One was something that another Italian filmmaker made. I can't remember that. And then this was Cemetery Man was the other one. And so he gave him that one and he kind of sat on it for a while. Didn't know exactly what to do with it. And then, began to kind of start turning it into the film that we know now, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, the guy basically gave him an unmade story, and said, do something with this.
Right.
And
Bring it to life.
yeah, and he did.
That's killer. But there's one name is a reason you should own this movie.
Oh God,
I already know.
Anna
Anna
Fauci.
Fauci. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it.
brother.
I knew it.
I was watching that and I was like, she may be the hottest woman I've ever seen. Like on
Right.
film. Like,
and he says that too, right? She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, right?
Mhm.
like it's entirely possible. It really is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy.
She's whoa. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I mean, the to give a plot to this movie, Rupert Everett, who's the main character, Dylan Morday, he's like a caretaker of this small kind of cemetery, and he lives there, and you get the idea that like the town is paying him to take care of this problem that they have, which is that the dead keep coming back to life.
Yeah.
And he has to dispatch of them, like, and he just goes around shooting them in the head. He's got like the little assistant with him named Noggy, but the only
Nagi.
thing he can say is nah, and that's
Yeah.
why he's called Noggy. And so that's the main basic plot of it, is that he does this for a living, basically dispatches these dead people as they come back to life, and then kind of buries them and takes care of this cemetery. In the midst of all this, he meets the woman. What'd you say her name was? I'm sorry, I lost the
She.
name. She. Yes.
Her name's She.
Yeah. It is actually that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a part of this, and people are talking about this in the comments too. Instantly falls in love with her.
Yeah.
And
Don't blame him.
with it, yeah, me either. I would.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would, fuck with him on that. But she's kind of like a necrophiliac. She's a fucking,
She's talking about her dead
odd.
husband that she,
Yeah.
he could go for days or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And she's not really, doesn't seem to be really that interested in him,
Right.
until like, he starts going around and showing her the cemetery, and like that must be hyping her.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He wants to show her, what is it called? The ostrich
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
some shit. Like some I guess it's a underground basement, like really wet.
The ossuary or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool when they actually get
Yeah.
in there, like the way that they design that. And at the same time, he's becoming infatuated with her. Noggy's becoming infatuated with this other woman. I think her name's Valentina. And just one of the craziest scenes in the movie is, so she gets into a motorcycle accident. Is it a motorcycle accident or a car accident?
Motorcycle. Yeah.
Motorcycle accident. Yeah.
There's a bus full of Boy Scouts.
That's right. Because they all come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is that whole sequence is great.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that whole thing.
You're like splat, a head splat, and it's holy shit.
And so she comes back, and for some reason, I still can't figure out why this happens. Like, he gets in there, and he's obsessed with her, like Noggy is, and ends up, like, rather than just kind of getting her out of the casket, he pulls her fucking head off.
That's all he needs.
Like, he
all
just
he
has her head,
Yeah.
and he just, like, has her head sitting in the TV, like, and just talks to it all day long. And she's cool with it, by the way. She's
Right.
like, yeah, I love this guy. Like, I want to spend my life with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Her dad's
Oh.
the mayor, too.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
And the
Yeah.
head kills them in like a scene straight out of Evil Dead 2. The way the head flies, like, and you see the inside of the mouth and everything, like,
Yeah.
clamps down on the mayor's neck and like kills him. And as I'm sitting here explaining this movie, I realize how crazy all this sounds, but it's just, there's no way to really explain this because it's not like very linear. It's a bunch of crazy shit that
Yeah.
happens like all together.
The Grim
And
Reaper.
as you,
Cool. as
yeah,
hell.
the Grim Reaper, yeah,
That's one of the coolest things I think image wise in almost any of his movies. I think that looks better than the Owlman. It's got way more of a it's not necessarily iconic. I guess it would be for fans of the movie, but
Yeah.
man, that's a cool image. Like just that whole thing, the way it looks, that's awesome. And I think it's on the cover of that 4K, right, Dirk?
Yeah, he's right here, right on the cover, and it's got the kind of the scene with her, but it of course
Yeah.
don't show.
Yeah,
it
that
don't
is
show
so cool.
the goods, But
Yeah, well, yeah.
oh my, that scene right there.
yeah,
That's up there with like Phoebe Cates and Fast
Mhm.
Times at Ridgemont High, or
Oh,
name
yeah.
any scene you can think of with
yeah, man.
yeah.
Anna Fauci, holy shit.
Debbie Sue Voorhees and Friday 5. It's up there with
yeah,
all
yeah.
of them. So anyway, I think the movie gets kind of crazier as it goes on, and to the
Oh, yeah.
point where it starts off you're kind of rooted in the real world, but as it goes further, you get further and further away from it being like in the real world. And then so all that stuff happens, and then there's a thing where Rupert Everett goes to this guy who's like a doctor, and he wants to kind of have his shit cut off.
He wants it, yeah, because she says this is the second one, right? She's saying that because it's he has to kill she
Yeah,
because she
dies
because they're getting
she
it on.
literally dies. Yeah,
They're getting it on her husband's grave.
which
Another
that
standout scene.
that is.
And he bites her, and then so he thinks he has to kill her. So another woman comes, and it's the same exact damn woman, and yeah. But
And then there's the whole thing where he starts getting this is part of the movie I didn't really like understand or really get into, where he's getting injections into himself to keep himself like from getting
Impotent.
aroused. Yeah.
yeah,
And it doesn't work. So I don't know what the point of that whole thing was really anyway. So he just continues to like and so
yeah,
all
because
that.
that's what it was. She said that she couldn't be with him because she's in fear of men's manhood.
Oh,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Of course. Men's man.
So he's like, I love you, so I got to get this injection. Like,
it's killer.
fuck. Or actually, like
That-
he wanted to get his shit cut off. But
He did, yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, that scene is just uncomfortable as hell to watch because he's up in stirrups and this doctor's got like this with him big,
yeah,
weed kind of
yeah,
things.
sit
and
on
it's
the
like,
and when the doctor's walking by, you see the shadow of it, and you're like,
yeah.
damn. But
So, you move forward from that, and I'm trying to remember what happens next after that because this movie is so kind of
he injects
all over
him.
the place. He injects him with that, but that doesn't work, and he continues to like.
Then he finds out she's because remember he had to kill the mayor.
Yeah.
So she says the mayor raped her, and then
Yep.
she enjoyed it. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, then he starts getting fucking crazy because he gets sick, like he gets an infection or something like that from the whatever it is he's getting injected in him. So he starts getting more and more, and that's the part of the movie I wasn't sure about. Is it like, was he starting to hallucinate a bunch of stuff, or was like, I mean, the whole movie is kind of a hallucination, really, but like that part of it especially, you're kind of like, what is going on, like right here? So I wasn't entirely sure what was going on there. And then he meets another woman that's like that woman, same woman.
Yep.
Goes to bed with her, everything's going great, and then finds out she's a prostitute.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I forget how he says it or something, but like he burns down. Oh, that's what it is. She's like, come in here and keep me warm. He puts his
I
space
keep it warm
heater
forever.
in the bed with her and throws
Yeah.
like a blanket over it, and it catches the thing on fire and kills all of them. And then he goes back and he's kind of like, he goes back to Noggy and he's like, all right, we're getting the hell out of here. We're going to like, there's nothing really left for us here or anything. I want to get out of this place and see what the real world is like. So they take off driving, and I want somebody to explain this to me because I still can't make sense of it, but I'm sure that there's a million interpretations of this. But he takes off driving, and they get through this tunnel, and then what looks to be like not a Beetlejuice, but like an Evil Dead moment, where they get to this part of the road, and then it's just broken off. And they can't go any further, and the whole thing's broken off, and there's nothing but like you just look down, and you can't. And he's like, and then and Noggy falls down, hits his head or something like that. No, Noggy. There's a car accident. Noggy hits his head on the car accident and then gets out, and like he thinks he's dead. Not actually dead. He wakes up.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up, he's perfectly lucid and he's talking.
Yep.
And he has a line that he says. I can't remember what it is exactly.
He says, take me home.
Take
Please
me home.
And then he says, nah.
Yeah.
And Rupert Everett goes, nah. And then you see a snow globe.
Right.
And with them in it, credits. And I'm like,
Right.
I was
All
like,
that
I
shit's
know.
happening in that snow globe.
Yeah, I
I'm-
mean that's their existence. They can't escape, what
Yeah.
they're supposed to do. Basically, that's their fate. He's destined to kill the dead forever. Basically,
But I also think that Nagi and him are the same person.
really,
Well, that would make sense. Yeah.
I never thought about it that way.
Because like Nagi's in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time when he's like banging on the floor and shit.
Okay.
I don't know, but there's a lot of shit going on in this movie.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I mean, there has to be something to that scene, right? Because it doesn't make sense the way that it's set up unless there is something like that.
Right.
Because why he just switches all of a sudden to being completely normal, and then Rupert Everett is fucking Noggy. So it's like there's
Yeah.
got to be something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Mark, what's your interpretation? Do you have an interpretation of the ending of that movie? Because I'm still trying to roll it around in my head.
No, I mean just the whole snow globe scene. I don't know about the theory about them being the same guy. I never would have thought that, but I could kind of see that. I don't think they are, but that's an interesting theory. But yeah, the whole thing with the snow globe, it's zooming out. That's what they're supposed to do. And I think there's also a moment where the death figure tells him to stop killing the dead or something like that, to
Yeah.
kill the
Start
living.
killing the living.
Yeah.
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 And also, I think that's a nod to Stage Fright too, the snow globe, right? And they're like with the stage scene with the feathers and everything.
Oh shit, that is
Oh,
true. Yeah.
wow.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But like with the Italians, man, it don't have to make sense. It's like,
That's true.
That's-
I mean,
that's
it
kinda
could
their
be it
trademark,
could be
yeah.
absolutely nothing that makes sense. You know what I mean? And just like
Yeah.
something he decided to do. But I
I
feel
just
like
know
there's-
I love this
something
damn
there.
movie. I could put it on and watch it anytime.
well, here's my thing. Like for
Yeah.
years and years and years, I've shit on this movie, and
Mhm.
I've not liked this movie.
Damn. Okay.
And that was after seeing it one or two times when I was, really, really young.
Yeah.
But there's something about a couple of different things came into motion, like being at this age, and also this version of it being amazing looking probably had a lot to do with it.
It is.
But like I was completely like wrapped up when I watched it in this world. Like it just for some reason it hit a note with me this time where I was like, all right, I fucking get this more now than I did then. You know what I mean? Or at least what he was
Mhm.
trying to go for more than I did at that point in time. And I'm on board for it. Like I know I've shit on it a lot in the past, but I think if you go back and watch it, like, because it's got everything, really. It's got humor. It's got like fucking some of the best nudity you'll ever see. It's got practical effects. It's got like a surrealistic storyline that really doesn't give you any answers, which I love. Like it doesn't tell you like what the ending is or how to
No.
that things happen that turn out good or they turn out bad. It doesn't really like tell you anything. So
I think and the name Delamore, death and love, right? So
yeah,
earlier in the film he talks about his mother's name was Delamore, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
But I don't
Well,
know.
there's another part of this movie too, Dirk. That I thought was interesting, and it has to mean something. He's obsessed with phone books.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing
book
too.
directory
Yeah.
is a hobby.
He goes through phone book directories throughout the entire course of the and then like there's one scene where Nagi like burns one of them or something, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like these are the best books ever written." These are the best. It's like what?
So is he like a killer? Like
I
mean,
can't
there's-
figure it out, but that's the good
Yeah.
part. Like the fact that I can't figure it out actually makes me enjoy it even more. Like,
exactly. It's a puzzle to solve
yeah,
to try to solve.
Yeah, you get the pieces, but you're not sure where they fit. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I was really like, I did not expect to go like this movie. I didn't expect to come out the other end of this movie and be like, this is great. But I'm telling you that it is.
Well, I'm glad,
Like, I
man.
believe that it is. At least in my opinion. And I'll also tell you this: this is a movie that's clearly, like I said earlier, not going to be for everybody.
No,
There's no way.
Oh no, yeah.
You're
definitely
like,
not.
if you
No.
don't like this movie, you will really not like this movie. Like I didn't like it for a long time.
I mean, I've
vehemently.
seen this a long time ago, like on USA of all places,
Okay.
back in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't believe they played that on there.
Yeah, that's. I
Yeah.
can't believe that either.
I mean, I didn't see none of the good, the good stuff.
Oh yeah, they cut the goods out
Of
for
course,
sure.
I didn't see that, but I was intrigued back then. So,
It has a really interesting vibe to it, though. It's almost like it almost has like an Italian Tim Burton vibe or something. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how else to
yep,
explain
No.
it.
it does have that
But-
look. But the
Um,
dead won't. Not all the dead come back either. So it's only certain
Right.
dead too.
Mhm.
Like the mayor
And
comes
you-
back.
You don't know
Yeah.
when they're coming back either, because they come back within like, what do you say, like a span of 7 days or
7
something
days,
like that. Yeah.
Some of them come back instantly. Some of them,
Yep.
it's a few days. Nagi's sitting there off the grave waiting
Yep.
for his love. You forgot
There's
to mention he throws up on her too.
Yeah. There's a great scene in it too where I laughed out loud where he goes, he gets bitten and he's like, I don't know what I would do if I died and came back or something like that. And he's like, I know that Nagi wouldn't have the heart to kill me or anything like that. And then
Yeah.
like he walks out the door and
Yeah.
Nagi's there with a shovel and like swings at his head.
Yeah.
Like that's immediately what he does to try to kill him.
He's like, the bite don't kill me. You don't die from the bite.
It
Yeah.
was a great scene. What would you give it though, rating wise? I don't know how to rate this movie really. Like,
Oh,
it's
man,
a
for
lot
me?
harder.
For me or Mark?
Anybody, yeah.
I don't even know how to rate it either. I mean, for a long time, I thought it was just okay. I think a lot of the hype behind it, everybody was like on message boards, anywhere you looked on the internet, oh, it's his best movie. You got to see it. And coming off of like stage fright and everything, I had really high expectations. I will give it the fact that just like the other movies, I think there's a lot of style to it. I like the imagery. I love the
Yeah.
look of the death figure, which I mentioned earlier. And the comedy actually works. It probably shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, it's
Really
dark.
does.
Dark as hell.
Yeah. I don't know what
What-
I'd give it though. What were you gonna say?
I was just say one thing that I haven't really mentioned is how good the practical effects are in this movie. But the
Oh, yeah.
headshots and stuff are fucking
Yeah.
outstanding, and like
Mhm.
there's a lot of really good
Them
squid.
Boy Scouts coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's just, you shouldn't be laughing at that shit.
But you got to. I mean, it's clearly meant to be funny too. Like,
Right. For me, man, I gotta give it it's probably a 9 out of 10 for me. But there's a lot going on, man. That I'll probably debate in my own head for years. It's like
yeah,
probably forever. Like what the hell is really going on? But it's interesting enough to rewatch it. So,
oh yeah. Like I
Yeah.
could see me rewatching this again soon. Like just trying to get another kind of angle of it. I'll give it
And
an
there's-
8. Straight
there's
out, I'll
also
give
a
it.
skull puzzle, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
he's trying to put together.
yeah. Which Nagi can put together easily, which is another
Yeah.
weird part about the movie too.
Right.
That there's that scene where he just puts it together, but then he acts like he doesn't know like how to put it together. He takes it apart real quick before he comes back in and
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Mhm.
like he's like, this is the hardest puzzle ever to put together, and he's like working at it diligently.
That's why I think Nagi is him, because
Well,
you'll
there's
see him-
something there. You're right. There's
'cause
something.
you'll see him looking out a window and he's crying and shit.
Yeah.
Like when he's with the chick in the graveyard. I don't know. It's yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, like you said. But
Let's see. Mark, are you going to give it a rating? Can you rate this film?
I'd probably say a 7.
okay.
6.57.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look at some of these comments real quick. This should be an interesting conversation. Was the whole him falling in love with the girl so fast supposed to be a parody? That was so odd. He met her and immediately acted like he knew her for 100 years. Yeah, that is
think-
true, that part.
I kind of think he does know her, but I don't think, like I said, this is not reality. None of this is really happening.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well, yeah, that part is very weird. Colt just basically says Cemetery Man's the best zombie film of the 90s. Let me see. The mayor says Cemetery Man is the only Soavi film that I was able to see at an art house when it first came out. It's definitely my favorite film. It is okay. Darren says I didn't really like it on first viewing. Steve picked it on Euro Cult, and I feel like it's a masterpiece. That's the same thing. I don't know if I'd say it's a masterpiece, but like it's like I watched it with a completely different set of eyes or something. Like 20 years later, of course, I've got a completely different mindset.
Oh yeah.
Now than I did then anyway. But like I don't think that like there's some of those movies that do that kind of stuff that's done in Cemetery Man that I think are very pretentious and very like, goofy when they try to do the whole, you can't tell if it's a dream or reality or yada, yada, yada. Everything's kind of fucked. David Lynch does that shit constantly. And some of those films are just bullshit. Some of them are great. Some of them are bullshit. Just to be honest. I don't feel that way about this film though. Like, I don't feel like it's
I think anybody could watch it.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it's not.
Well, not anybody, but you know what I mean.
But I think of like all these films that we've talked about, like I think it's one that people would more easily relate to than any of these other ones. Like the casual viewer, I would say anyway.
Right.
Witch Hunter says Cemetery Man literally feels like a fever dream. Yep.
Yeah. Or a nightmare, or both.
Yep.
Yeah.
He also, Colt says, sadly, I cannot pronounce that name. I'm not going to try. Who
That's
played
Nagi.
Nagi? Dad
Nagi,
died
yeah.
last year. Yep.
Oh shit.
He was in a punk band or some sort of band. Did you know that? Like that was his
Damn.
name.
I can't imagine that.
There was a picture of him that they showed in the extras of him holding a guitar, and I'm like, this looks so, because he still looked exactly the same, but he's holding a guitar in front of a mic, and I'm just like, that's just,
Shit.
like when you see your teacher outside of school. That's what it's like. Very odd.
Damn it. That'd be strange.
That makes me think about Giovanni Roberto Radici. He died last year too. And you guys know what he died from? Because I've never been able to find out. He was only in his 60s.
No.
Nope.
I don't know what he
I
got.
know that guy was pretty awesome in terms of like
Oh yeah.
talking to him and like through the mail and stuff
That's
too.
cool.
And like he was really cool. Suspirian Night says the 4K quality is up there with The Shining and Zombie for me. I love the movie now in part because of the 4K. Yeah, I mean it's insanely good. Like,
Yeah.
could not believe it.
Yes.
The mayor said he's only eating me. Mind your business.
Right.
That's the line
Yeah,
in it.
the motorcycle guy coming out of the grave. That shit's killer.
Yeah.
That chick's like trying to go with him.
Yeah. Whoever wrote the script was smoking a lot of reefer.
Well, he might have been doing some other shit.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
maybe. That's true. That's one thing we didn't talk about either. I love how the detective is absolutely clueless. Even when he catches Delamorte with a gun at a crime scene, he's like, good, you already have a gun to protect you. When he's
Yeah.
coming down the stairs after he's already killed
Right.
everybody, like, yeah, he's like, yeah,
He's
you got a
getting pissed
gun.
off.
He has no clue that he's the killer. Yeah.
And that's another thing. He's pissed off. Like, remember he's talking to somebody. He's like, "You're stealing my kills. Who's stealing my kills?"
Stealing my kill. Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
See, there's a lot, man. There's a lot to go back and actually like. I mean, you could make a list of the shit in this movie to try to figure out like what does this mean in terms of the context of the whole movie. Yeah, Colt says the ending means he has nowhere to go.
Right.
Except, I guess, back to the
cemetery.
Yep. I agree with Colt's interpretation. It's inescapable.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got to go back through the tunnel, and it's got that damn music from Clockwork Orange too. In one part of
Oh yeah, it does.
that when he starts killing all them people and shit. Oh man.
Chris C says he has two Soavi films, The Sect and The Church. Both of those are Scorpion Edition. He's got the two same ones I do. And he says he needs to watch those. I don't know if you need to watch them. You know what I mean? But you can watch them if you want to.
Well, I mean, if you've got them, you might as well. I
Yeah.
mean, you spent the money, and they look good. And there's some good interviews and special features on there.
I think Chris would dig them, but like, you definitely got to see Cemetery Man if you haven't seen, and Stage Fright.
Yeah, Stage
Yeah.
Fright especially. Yeah,
Yeah.
being a slasher fan, got to see Stage Fright.
Yeah.
Jake says he would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Depending on my mood, I might even give it a 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck? Cemetery Man is much better than that overrated Beyond movie from Fulci. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, wait a
That's a
minute.
hot take.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're bringing the wrong cake to this birthday party, son.
Yeah. I mean, Beyond's my favorite Fulci film, period. But yeah.
Pump your brakes. Reminds me of that scene in Tropic Thunder.
Bobby's
Pump your
good.
brakes, kid. That man's a national treasure.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Did y'all
The
want
mayor
to?
says,
Oh, good.
"Oh, go ahead, Dirk."
I was gonna say, did y'all want to mention? I mean, I don't know. I know you've covered it, probably. You covered it.
I'll mention a Blade in the Dark all day long.
Yeah. But
What a film! What a film indeed that is, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to really talk about the character if people haven't seen it though. So
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can't talk about the character without
Right.
giving away the whole fucking movie.
yeah, right. So yeah, go check out Blade in the Dark.
Is that your favorite Bava movie, Dirk?
Lamb Baba?
Yeah.
No, probably not. No, probably.
Which one? Which
Probably
one?
Demons.
Demons. Okay.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, Demons.
It's
is up there
hard.
for me too.
It's hard to get away from Demons. Like, it's hard to like not love that movie.
Macabre's good too, though. I mean,
I think that might be my favorite, just because how crazy that
that's
movie
crazy.
is.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I mean, I like a lot of Lamb Baba. He's
Yeah.
got some shit.
Hell yeah.
Blair says, I think every script ever made required reefer. That's interesting.
Shit.
So I'm betting, Blair, that you are a fan of the reefer. If I could guess. The main. Can we ban Colt for that ridiculous take? No, we're not going to ban anybody right now. Any take. Movies are very subjective.
Oh yeah.
Cemetery Man and Stage Fright are his best horror films. He did a great neo-noir called The Goodbye Kiss in the early 2000s, which is great as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that one available to watch anywhere, Jacob? Because I know a lot of his stuff past Cemetery Man. It's not easy to find. So you got a link. Point me in the right direction. I'd like to see more of his stuff.
Yeah. I'll check it out. I heard he quit making films though for when he was on the roll because his daughter was sick. Is that right?
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, that I forgot to mention that too. Like, yeah. So it was real weird to me that he makes Cemetery Man and then like just basically disappears, right?
Yep.
And that was probably his most popular film and did
Yeah,
really
he was
well.
getting better.
Or at least, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say he was getting better. I think Stage Fright's probably his most passionate,
Mm-hmm.
from the way he described it. He said he can remember every scene to this day, making every scene from all
He
the
was
sweat.
from
All the sweat he put into it. Like every frame, like was way more meticulous. But I mean, watching Cemetery Man, I'm like, shit, feels like
But
the
like
same
you-
kind of love.
like you said though, like as it turns out, like I don't remember if it was a daughter or a son. He had one of his children was terminally ill, and he stopped basically doing anything to take care of that kid. And I'm not sure what happened with any of that because I couldn't find anything about like what actually happened. I looked for like information about it, but like couldn't really find anything. I'm not sure what happened after that or like why he never really got back in, hardcore to making films or anything. But
Speaking of, man, I got this to show. So
Oh yeah, I ordered that, Dirk, because
Nice.
you got. I had no idea that shit existed, so I ordered both those.
yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Hopefully they'll be in the next week.
What do you think? Do you think she's still hot when she's dead,
Oh my
undead?
god!
Right?
Listen,
Yeah.
man, you want to see something freaky? You got that set and everything. Watch the special features with her, cause she looks to this day amazing. Like
I was gonna
like,
say
what
that
the fuck?
she's in like her mid-50s. I think she still looks good.
Damn.
I mean,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, this gave me a good reason to crack this thing open because it's been sitting for a minute.
well.
I
There's
haven't
an
got to this.
interview.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
there's
to
an
get to
interview on there with her, and it's like you won't believe it. You'll be like, "What in the hell?"
Yeah. That's all natural too.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
see.
I believe.
Have y'all ever seen Hatchet for a Honeymoon? It's a
Oh,
later
yeah.
ball. I'm about guaranteed Dirk has, yeah.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
I would say that film inspired Dexter.
Oh wow.
I could
I-
see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I love it, man. I love Hatch for the Honeymoon. I don't care for that actor, but he's good in that. I can't remember his damn name. He was in another film with Barbara Steele, An Angel for Satan. Damn, what's his name? He's
I
pretty
was-
wooden in most roles, but that role he does good.
I was just looking at the Blu-ray of to buy that Angel for Satan.
All right, it's a great one if you like Barbara Steele.
I love Barbara Steele.
The mayor says, I heard that Soavi only went on to direct Italian TV movies, but I'm not sure how true that is. I guess
He's done some television. I was looking at that earlier, but I didn't jot it down or nothing.
This is such a weird take that I have to put it up here. The Beyond ruined Fulci for me.
Holy shit.
I just can't. I can't place that in my head. Like, if anything, the Beyond, like, when I saw that movie, I was like, this guy is fucking amazing. Like, it made him more likable to me.
Colt also says that Fulci only made 3 good movies.
Oh, well.
I don't know if you
yeah.
see that comment.
You'd have to check out his whole filmography before you could say that.
Yeah, have you not seen Don't Torture a Duckling? That's probably one of my favorites. That's in my top 3 Fulci personally.
Even like For the Apocalypse, the Western he did another one, Massacre Time. Yeah.
And I think the other one is Silver Saddle, I think.
I
was the
didn't see
third
that one. I heard bad things on that.
That's the weakest one of the 3. He only did 3, and that's the weakest one, I'd say.
But For the Apocalypse, amazing.
Yeah.
I've just got 3 words for you.
Yeah.
New York Ripper.
Oh, yeah.
Come on
Oh,
now.
yeah. That's
Come
in my top
on.
3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New York Ripper for sure.
I love my Euro sleeves, and that's
Yeah.
way up there for
Silver
me.
Toes.
Oh, yeah.
You lie.
Don't you?
I love that guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Jake says, with the exception of Goodbye Kiss, they're all TV movies as far as I know. No clue if they're good or not. So something happened there. I don't know what happened like after all that, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to see Contraband, too.
I need to see Contraband. I've never seen that movie. And everybody hypes that movie up. So
I hope
know
I
need
ain't
to
hyped
watch
it
it.
too much in it. I don't think so, though, man. It's pretty damn solid.
Yeah, I think Cauldron has that out on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely grab
That's one
that.
that I need to get. So I think that's it. I mean, another episode
Yeah.
right at about hour 30. And
Michele Soavi, man. That's I'm not as familiar with his stuff, you know. But,
yeah,
I'd seen all the main 4
Mhm.
except the Sect. So I'm glad I checked it out though. I'm glad we did this.
yeah.
Cool.
I
Oh, yeah.
hadn't seen most of these movies, with the exception of Stage Fright, in years. I mean, over 10 years for all these. And yeah, I mean, he was an incredibly talented guy that I feel like the easiest thing he could have done was make films exactly like Argento, because he studied, with Argento, and Argento worked
Yeah.
with him on a lot of these films, but he didn't do that. He made like his own kind of movies, and
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
do think that culminated with Cemetery Man, which is like kind of like you see all of everything he did come together in that movie, and he just makes something that completely transcends everything
Yeah.
else that he did.
There's
Look at that
nothing. I can't compare that to anything else. That film.
So, I don't know how to place him amongst all these other people that we've done, but
He
that
definitely
movie,
got his own signature, though.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, I mean, you can see who his influences are, obviously, but he's got his own style, and I appreciate all his movies.
I
Even
love
the
the
Sect.
fact. Yeah, I love the fact he gives props to Argento and D'Amato and even Hitchcock. Like,
Yep.
Because a lot of these guys are like, well, I'm the best. Like,
They really are like that, yeah.
he's pretty humble. Like, if you listen to him.
Especially like we were talking about last time with Umberto Lindsay, who's just like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm doing fucking you. I'm doing
Argento was my pupil.
yeah, I taught him everything he knows. Bakalava. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he really was full of himself. I love, at least two of these movies I love, and the rest of them are still worth a watch. And depending on like what angle you're coming at them, you can still love them, I think, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in terms of what show is going to be next, I don't know like who's going to be next on this show. I don't know yet, because I know CK and I are doing next Sunday. We're doing the Killer Kids movie thing at the same time we would be doing this with Wet Movie. So
Okay.
that will take a back seat for another 2 weeks, I guess, and I'll figure out like who the next person will be by then.
Okay. Cool.
But I appreciate everybody being here, Mark and Dirk and everybody.
Hey,
Dirk, what do you got coming up? What's coming up next?
So
I know you did Polizioteca
Yeah.
recently. I watched some of that. Yeah.
We did some Poliziotteschi Italian crime films on Subjective Perspective Collective is a channel, and anybody that don't know. So Saturday we're gonna cover Argento. We haven't done anything on Argento in like 6 months, so we're gonna be covering Giallo. Do you like Hitchcock and Dark Glasses? So
Wow.
that's the three Hitchcocks. Two of them I haven't seen. I haven't seen Giallo. I haven't seen Do You Like Hitchcock? So
I have seen Do You Like Hitchcock and still have not seen Giallo, because everybody told me like, do not watch this fucking movie. So I
Right.
just like never did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've heard the same, but we got to do it, and then so that's what we got coming Saturday.
Awesome.
Cool.
Mark, you got anything coming?
We're gonna be me and Rambo will be doing another fan commentary on Thursday this coming week, and then I still got that Dead Pit review for the coffee table coming up.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I did forget, man. I'll be on Chris C, the Slasher Dude's channel Thursday. We're gonna be talking some Perfume of the Lady in Black and Four Flies on Grey Velvet. So,
Cool.
some Mimsy Farmer.
Four caterpillars on cotton pants.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what we've got coming up on Dead Pit, except for that Killer Kids thing on next Sunday at 10. So
Yeah.
he may throw something in there. I have no idea.
The Black Friday show you guys got Thursday.
Oh fuck. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I probably should hop that up, because like I would have completely forgot about that. So yeah, the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale is this Thursday coming up, and it's going to be us, Garrett, Planet CHH, Christian, and Mid Level are all going to be on that show. So that should
Okay.
be a hell of a show.
Yeah.
And we'll be all disappointed again by Vinegar Syndrome, because it ain't going to make me worth shit.
Watch him come swinging this time.
I wish, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they throw out there. But yeah, props to Mark for bringing that up, because I would have completely forgot about it. So until then, Yeah, I will see all you guys later. Make sure to check out Mark and Dirk at Subjective Perspective Collective. That's a mouthful of stuff to say.
Yeah.
And I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, man.
Later.
Now take care.
Give us the thumb. Give us the thumbs up.
Up you butt.
Like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.